So is it possible to become fluent in Japanese in just 6 months? I mean, a while ago I did this poll with you guys and I asked how long it took for you to become comfortable enough speaking in Japanese. And I think the majority of you said 2 years. Some of you said 4 years or more. But I think most of you would also have come across videos on YouTube where people are talking about how they managed to learn Japanese in 6 months, how they became fluent, how they passed the N1 in a year or so. Today I just want to casually talk about it because these videos used to piss me off a lot because I just didn't think it was possible. There's one YouTuber that I've recently started to follow. His name is Aussieman, I think. Let me check. Yeah, and he recently did a video on how he managed to complete the N1 in just 9 months of studying Japanese.
Hey guys, it's Aussieman. 9 months after I started learning Japanese, I took and passed the JLPT N1.
To me, that is insane because 9 months couldn't even get me to the N5 level, I think. He did mostly immersion. He went through Take Him's grammar guide and he didn't use textbooks. And it was mostly just that, basically. And after a while, I think the grammar kind of just got instilled in him. He did study specifically all the JLPT words, so he did that through spaced repetition. I don't know, my instinct is to say like bullshit, like that's never gonna happen, like no one passes the N1 in a year. But I realized that when I had such doubts about how people studied Japanese, I also realized it was because I had a lot of jealousy inside. For me, I feel like I took a very long time to study Japanese. It took me many years before I got to a point where I could even have a simple conversation. A lot of that was because I was studying with the wrong methods. I wasn't studying Japanese in the most effective manner. And I think I might talk about this a bit more in other videos next time. But today I just want to talk about, what you guys think. I'm actually very interested to hear your journeys in the comments below because yeah, I have always been very skeptical of videos where people talk about how they got fluent in just a very short span of time, and especially so for Japanese because the grammar is just vastly different from English, as you guys know. So I think a few things that I've come to realize is that there is no reason for me to compare myself with these people. There's no reason for you to compare yourself with these people because a lot of these people who really focus on getting fluent quickly, I think they use very extreme methods. Like, would you be able to study 6 hours of Japanese a day? I think I know I definitely wouldn't. So if I can't even commit to that kind of schedule, who am I to doubt the effectiveness of their methods? That's the first thing I want to say. I've come to realize that unless I can commit to that schedule and still say, it's impossible. Like if I can't even do that, who am I to say that it's, it doesn't work, right? Yeah, so that's one thing. I think I've learned to stop comparing myself with others simply because I don't have the time and I'm not willing to go to the same extent in learning Japanese. We all are different, we all learn differently, and I think there's really no shame to taking it slow with regard to learning Japanese. Another person that this reminds me of is Jannah. And I'm not sure if any of you have seen the interview I did with her a while ago. I think Jannah's story is a much more relatable kind of story because she basically studied Japanese for 6 months and got to a point where she was able to hold simple conversations with her friend. And for Jannah, she spent no time studying hiragana, katakana, kanji, whatever. She's still unable to read Japanese. She focused solely on speaking. By the end of 6 months, I think she got to a considerably decent level of speaking. Like, I know I wasn't anywhere close to her level of speaking after just 6 months. But for Jannah, I think it was a lot more realistic. She spent about 2 hours a day studying Japanese, and it was mostly listening and shadowing. And then from there, learning the grammar points. So I think one thing I'm seeing in common with all these stories is that immersion really is the key. I also believe that for myself, if I had started on immersion right from the beginning, I think I would have been a lot better at Japanese. It's a pity that I only started much later because I've realized that without immersion, you study all this grammar and all these vocabulary words, but when you actually hear them, you're not able to pick them up. You don't realize that you're actually listening to them. So I think we only get used to picking up the Japanese words with time and with immersion practice. And honestly, I think this video is not so much for you as it is for myself. Just a reminder not to get caught up with comparing myself with others because it's very real. Like every time I hear how other YouTubers speak Japanese, I'm really in awe, really jealous, really envious. And it's just negative feelings which are unnecessary. I think more importantly, what I realize now is that that is not the norm for people. Most of us are not able to keep to a schedule with like 4 to 6 hours of Japanese a day. I think we're considerably good if we can manage just 2 hours a day. And even that, I think it's probably more like 3 hours a week. I don't know. But also, I'm making this video because I just want us to have this discussion. Like, I would really appreciate if you guys actually take the time to write about your experience with studying Japanese, like how long it took you to get to the different levels of speaking. For me, to be very honest, after the first 1 year, I think it was still like textbook sentences. 私の名前はジャミンですとか Yeah, something like that. After 2 years, not much better. It was only after maybe 3-4 years when I started to do a little bit more immersion that I was able to start having slightly longer but still very simple conversations. As for the level that I am now, if you guys listen to my conversation videos, you would know I pause a lot when I speak Japanese. My grammar is all over the place. My intonation is not very good either. I'm in a much better position than I was a few years ago, but it's still not great. But I've come to embrace it. I've come to embrace it all as part of the journey. I think one thing I hope is not to be so embarrassed when I make mistakes, because it still hurts. But I guess that's natural. Thank you for taking the time to watch, but please, more importantly, comment down below. Please let me know your experience, because I would love to have this discussion with you guys. And if you haven't checked out Jannah's video, please do check it out, and I'll see you next time.